There we go. Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is, forgive me, I can never remember what the name of this month is.
It's, I don't remember.
Eddie August, what is it?
Yeah, Eddie August.
Yeah, it's Eddie August.
All right, well, it's Eddie August, and we missed a week. I'm sure you missed us. We missed you. But we watched my
Not
pick.
really. We didn't miss you at all. We, quite frankly, a week break is kind of nice once in a while.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. We watched my pick, which is Eddie Murphy's Dolemite is My Name.
Yeah,
a
movie that I've miscalled My Name is Dolemite about 8,000 times.
Yeah, it's I don't know if we're gonna have a lot to talk about besides how great it is. It's just gonna be a glowing review from this kid. So. Oh,
I don't know about that.
Really? I loved it.
Yeah,
well, it's good. Let's be fun.
No, I'm just kidding. I fucking loved it. It was great. This episode might devolve into the Chris Farley show. This movie may be the reason why, this is why I used to have the old "it's too good" rule. It's really good. I mean,
it's like shockingly good, and well, we'll get into it. So.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So we have some things to catch up on since we did miss a week. So what did you all watch this week?
Ow!
Man, I watched
80 things.
Was there did you watch a lot of Telemundo?
Things. A few.
Sabago Gigante.
What's that?
I don't know if it still exists.
Giant Saturday.
It's like a variety show on Telemundo.
No, I did not watch that. Two movies I watched parts of En Español while in Playa del Carmen. I watched the last 25% of Real Steel, which is the best 25% of that movie to watch.
It really is.
I still haven't seen that. That's the Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie, right?
Watch it on. I missed that show.
That was that dark year where I just kept missing episodes. I was only on like half the episodes.
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I think you like that movie. At least it's no dumber than Pacific Rim.
What's the name of the fucking robot? And that's like Rowdy Boy or something?
Noisy
Loud
Boy.
Noisy Boy.
I only know that from context of you guys talking about it.
There's so many good names for the robot. There's Noisy Boy, Zeus, Adam, Twin Cities, which is a robot with two heads for some reason.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like, these robots shouldn't have heads, period. They should be like the Crushinator from Futurama, just a big block that runs people over.
Right.
Anyway, I watched the last 25% of Real Steel and Espanol. It has served me well having seen it already, so I knew exactly what was happening, what was going on.
I have a question. Did someone else do Hugh Jackson's voice, or did Hugh Jackson dub it over in Spanish?
It was somebody else. There's no way it was him.
Hugh Jackson, the former coach of Cleveland Browns.
That's who they have. Whenever movie, all the X-Men movies in Mexico are dubbed over by Hugh Jackson.
That's what he's doing now.
It is almost football season, so yeah.
That's what he's doing now. He's not in the NFL anymore. He's doing Telemundo dubs.
He's like, I don't speak Spanish and I don't sound like him, but okay, a job's a job.
Hell yeah. Hey man, work is work.
I watched also the last 20% of Independence Day 2 and Español.
Had you seen Independence Day 2? I had not seen it yet. Had you seen it? Oh.
But based on what I saw, I didn't need to have seen it. I saw Independence Day 1, and it's pretty much the same exact thing.
It's fucking terrible.
Is Bill Pullman still the president?
No. He's like, I couldn't tell, but he's like in exile or something.
Yeah.
He has a full beard. He lives in the woods, and then he comes back at the end to, basically he does the Randy Quaid part.
Yeah.
In this movie, he flies into the ship and destroys a ship.
Yeah, and the fun part is that it ends on a cliffhanger for a movie that'll never come out.
Yeah, they brought back Brent Spiner, even though he clearly got killed in the first one.
He got very killed in the first
He had
one.
strangled and his neck wrung out.
Yeah, he was like,
but he's still. He was in this. I was like, wait a minute.
Was he in it as a husk of a human being? Or
no, he was like a full-fledged character. It was weird.
And it wasn't his twin brother? Like, it wasn't written off like...
I couldn't understand it, so he might have been.
Was it lore?
Yeah.
It was funny because, like, it was dubbed in Espanol, so I tried to put the subtitles on, but they were also en Espanol.
Oh, that doesn't help.
No.
Way to go.
That's just reading Spanish.
Wouldn't it be weird if you couldn't speak Spanish, but you could read it?
It's like that Family Guy joke.
Like, what?
Me llamo Brian. Or me llamo S. Brian. Actually, you just have to say me llamo Brian. You don't have to say the S. Oh, you speak English? Actually, no. Just these two sentences. That one explaining that, and this one explaining that. He's like, you're kidding, right? Yeah.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good.
Back when Family Guy had tried.
Yeah.
I used to love that show.
Oh, we all did.
South Park ruined it for me.
It really did.
Yeah, South Park murdered that show deader than anything.
Yeah, it did him dirty.
What's the new Pixar movie, Elemental?
Oh, how was that?
It's like, I don't know. It's fairly mid.
I heard it was getting dragged for a Pixar movie. I heard it was not good.
I feel like it's the same story over and over.
Like a coming of age, like dealing with something.
Falls in love with somebody who they can't be in love with, and blah blah blah.
But like, did it go for
absolutely, tears? Not really. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's a beautiful movie. Like the fire, all the fire stuff looks really cool, and the water and the different elemental things they do look neat. But it was like fine at best. Like, kids will love it because it looks fun. It looks pretty. Bright colors on the screen. Watched Into the Spider-Verse, the good one. That movie fucking slaps. I don't think I need to say much more about that.
Universally loved on this podcast.
Watched a DC animated movie called The Legion of Superheroes, which, like, I watched it on a plane and I fell asleep and missed most of it. It was so boring. Like, I typically really, really like all the DC animated stuff, but this one literally had, like, no characters I knew.
I mean, the Legion of Superheroes to me is, like, the most, like, I do not care about, like, Saturn Girl and matter-eating lad.
I honestly didn't even know what it was until this movie. Like, the Legion of Superheroes, Gogs, I'm sure you're not familiar with them, because nobody is.
I mean, is it like, go ahead.
Basically, it's like a school, like, it's almost like an Xavier school, but it's 3,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
So we're like kind of like Dune level depth.
But they were like inspired by Superman, and they're like teenage super. It's like an idea that should have been left in the fucking 60s. Like, it's not like DC constantly tries to bring them back, and it's like, you gotta be like the most hardcore DC nerd to give a shit about those characters.
What was the Justice League that wasn't the Justice League that was featured in Black Adam that screwed me up?
Justice Society.
Yeah.
Which I believe technically predates the Justice League, because the Justice Society is from like way early. That's
almost like the Defenders in Marvel.
Yeah,
they're like World War II era.
Yeah, the
before the Avengers came
Justice Society was like Wonder Woman and like Spectre and the Sandman and like really old characters. Like, I don't think Superman was in Justice Society. I know it's very old. Anyway, sorry, Alex.
No, but this, like, the Legion of Superheroes is not, it's only an hour and like 15 minutes, and I couldn't even keep my eyes open that long. Yeah. Like, it revolves around Kara Zor-El, who comes from Krypton, but she was really like a black hole or something that distorted her time. So in the time that it took Clark to grow from a baby to his like adulthood, she basically instantly transported here somehow. So she was expecting him to be a baby, but he's grown up, and she's still like a teenager and immature. So he takes her to the future to see if she can fit in with these guys, because she is just obliterating shit in the modern time. She doesn't understand her power and stuff like that. And it has like Brainiac 5 and all, like, it's
5, yes,
so fucking Brainiac. Weird.
Yeah.
But like all the characters, like, you don't care about any of them because they're all just like almost like palette swapped Superman.
Yeah, they're
characters.
all really boring. And also they have like really boring 60s costumes. Like they're not, like there's nothing dynamic about them.
I want to say so far in the future, like how can you have any frame of reference to care about them?
Yeah, well, they're like their own thing. That, like, again, they were very like 60s comic book idea, like, or maybe even 50s. I think 60s though. But Alec, have you seen the new Superman show cartoon?
Cartoon? No.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. I haven't sat down to watch it yet.
Apparently, that newer Superman live action show is not terrible.
Yeah,
it's like kind of like Arrowverse adjacent.
Yeah. But you know how I feel about anything that's related to WB and Arrowverse. I'm like, because a lot like those shows too, and it's like those suck. So I don't know.
Yeah. The last thing I just watched it was the 2007 TMNT movie.
Oh, I like that movie.
Which I didn't realize I had seen, but I did see it. I think I saw it with you, TJ, in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I think so. I think we did see it in the theater together.
I didn't realize I had seen it until like halfway through. I was like, this all feels really familiar.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. I remember.
Is that the Michael Bay one?
No.
Oh, this is
the anime.
Fully CGI. Patrick Stewart plays the bad guy. I think the Turtles are all voiced. They're not voiced by celebrities, but everybody else is. So I'm assuming all the turtle voices are the original Turtles, because otherwise, why wouldn't they just have celebrities do them too? Chris Evans is Casey Jones, Sarah Michelle Gellar's April O'Neil. I can't remember. There's some other famous people in there too.
I just remember, like, that movie doesn't hold your hand at all. Like, it's not like a retelling of the origin. Like, they literally just kind of assume you know everything about the Turtles. I thought that was, like, an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was. And, like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. I remember liking it. I have to have it on DVD somewhere in the house.
I really gotta see that new one.
Oh my god, I know. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet. I don't know.
It's so good. Like, I really gotta get around to getting out and seeing that.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, you know, obviously, like, you all know me. I used to go to the movies, like, every weekend. But if I don't, and then I miss my window, I feel like it's like, oh, I see a thing on Facebook or whatever, like, so such and such is going to be on VOD in, like, 2 weeks. So it's just like, it comes out so fast.
Well, Guardians 3 is already on Disney, and I still haven't. I was going to try and find time this weekend to watch it. I know.
So good.
You gotta get on that, son.
Like, I've been wanting to see that A24 horror movie, Talk to Me. That'll be on VOD in, like, I think 2 weeks.
I heard that's really good.
And if it's on VOD, then it'll be on the Plex. I mean, I don't need to spell it out, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as it's available, it's easy to get, so.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, anything else, Alan?
That's all the movies. I finished Good Omens season 2, and that shit is so good. It's like, I think it's better than season 1.
Wow, that's
it's I love season 1, but it really dives a lot deeper into Crowley and Aziraphale's relationship, and like the end is like legit gut wrenching.
Gotta watch it.
Like,
is it a comedy or a drama? I've always seen ads for it and never watched it.
It's kind of in the middle. It leads into the comedy a little more, but like it walks that fine line, and it does it really well.
I know.
But both seasons are phenomenal. But season 2 is absolutely just excellent. Those two like have such good chemistry. I don't know if you ever see like, I'll have the shit pop up on like TikTok sometimes. Like they did like some shows together and some like Zoom meeting shit together like during the pandemic. Those two guys, they just have such good rapport.
I love both those actors are so great. Like, I love them both. Like,
yeah, and it's really, really, like, I can't say enough good things about it. I'm gonna go back and, like, I've never read the book. I want to go back and read the book, because
even though we all know how we feel about reading on the show, it's one I would recommend. It's good. It's because, like, the Terry Pratchett aspect of it kind of keeps it away from being too Neil Gaiman-y. And I like Neil Gaiman, but sometimes his books are a little dry. It's good.
Did Terry Pratchett do the Ringworld books?
Yes.
I started, some friends recommended those to me. They're pretty fun. They're not bad.
I've never read them, but I've heard nothing but good things. People love them.
But yeah, if you guys get time to watch Good Omens, catch up on that, because that shit is, like,
I think I'm going to
really good.
The
only thing I didn't care for is they reused an actress from season 1 that had a fairly main role in, like, a different role.
Oh, that's
and I'm like, there's so many people. Like, why do you have to cast her? Like, it's Miranda Richardson who played the clairvoyant.
Oh, right.
Like the clairvoyant / brothel owner or whatever in season 1.
Right.
She's like a demon in this one. Or, like, they just don't, like, explain it away or anything. It's just like,
yeah, that's kind of weird.
she's not the same character. Really,
it's kind of jarring. Like, why?
Yeah, because when I saw her at first, I was like, she looks just like the character from season 1. I was it can't be the same woman. Like, why would they do that? But they did. Like, I get, I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird.
All right.
That's the only little thing that bothered me.
To check it out. I'll have to look. I might have the book, Alec. I'll check my bookshelf, because I had a hardback copy of it. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'd love to read it.
I think I have it. I gotta look. I'll check out after we get off the air. I will check it out. You passed it to me. I watched 2 things. I watched really nothing. Nobody. Come on.
Two things. Sorry.
Two things. I had a mouthful of ice cream. Sorry.
That's okay.
My computer started making noises at me. And
no, that's my voice, guys.
It's my face, sir.
I watched 2 things. I watched the movie that Gogs watched a few weeks ago. I watched Deadstream on Shudder. I really enjoyed it. Very enjoyable.
It's not bad.
And, it's one of those things where it's a movie that you could tell was done on the cheap, but, like, their commitment to it, like, the whole movie is filmed like a live stream, like a Twitch stream. And you guys know how much I fucking hate found footage movies that break immersion and they constantly do a bunch of bullshit that you couldn't do in the movie. This movie goes out of its way to make sure that it is completely, like, immersive the entire time, going so far as doing one of the cleverest things I've ever seen in a found footage movie, where they're like, okay, how do we put music in this movie? The fucking host of the live stream, he's like the all around, like, live streamer, right? Like, he's trying to get all his fucking revenue streams. You know what I mean? So he makes his own music and he has it on a tape recorder on his belt. And he turns it on at certain points in the movie so that, like, there's, like, a soundtrack. That alone, I was like,
I feel like that movie shouldn't have worked, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it's really well done. It's not only, it's really clever, it's very funny. Like, I thought that the lead actor, who I think also is the writer and co-director of the film, I thought he was really funny. And I thought that it towed the line, speaking of towing the line, between, it's like a Shaun of the Dead, where it's like, it's legitimately like a very funny movie, but, like, it does have, like, hard, like, horror moments that are actually also really well done. I just thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. And it's really short. It's like I think it's 80 minutes long. It's great.
Someone who kids watch a lot, or at least Vance loves, like, those fucking YouTube guys. Like, he nailed that sort of, like, ultra annoying YouTube like host, and then but it's fun to watch him, like, when he breaks out of it, like, you can tell
the veneer kind of slips, and I really liked it. I also thought that, and then, I mean, when I started watching the movie, I thought that this was going to be a situation where the live streamer had, like, prearranged all this shit, and then, like, you know, the real shit started to happen, but that's not how the movie works. And I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. I highly recommend anybody watch it. It's a fun, like, horror, this is the kind of horror movie that you could recommend to anybody, really. Like, it's just a very enjoyable, very quick movie. Really liked it. Moving on to something I didn't like at all, and I'm disappointed to say. I watched, Malum, which is the remake of Last Shift, which is a movie I talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you're talking that up.
I loved Last Shift. I hated this. And it's made by the same director,
right?
Same director, same writer.
How'd they pooch it?
So, like, the thing is that first of all, this remake had a bigger budget than the previous film, but somehow looks worse than the previous film. Like, it's really weird. And the movie now, I guess because they got a bigger budget, like, now it relies on, like, cheesy bullshit that's in every other horror movie, like jump scares and, like, over-explaining everything, and, like, I just did not care for it. I don't understand how you put more money into a movie and it looks worse. Like, I just did not care for it. All the stuff that they changed.
Well, I mean, not for nothing, you're basically explaining George Lucas's whole career.
I mean, it is kind of like that, right? But the thing is, like, the things that they changed kind of ruin the movie. Like, first and foremost, the lieutenant, who's the main character, right? In the original, she shows up to do her last shift. She's like a rookie cop. She's given this shit job to look after this abandoned, outpost, well, you know, for one night. And you don't know anything else about her, really. And basically, it's seemingly like she's put there just kind of at random. Well, in this movie, it's explicitly told that she like, her dad, like, was involved in a shooting here and killed himself in this station, and she explicitly wants to go there to solve the mystery of what happened to her dad.
Was this a plot point in the original?
No.
Ugh.
And it ruins it. It's stupid. Right away, you're like, this is dumb. I don't like this. Like, I liked finding out. Basically, like, the original, like, built up all this tension of, like, what's happening and, like, the various levels of, like, her psyche breaking. And this movie just, like, starts out, like, right away. It's like, oh no, her dad was a psycho murderer and she's gonna find out why. It's like, I don't know. It puts you on your back foot right away. I didn't care for it. All the stuff that they added was just didn't work. Like, they do what I hate the most in horror movies, where it's like, if you have something that's kind of cheesy, like, the best thing to do is kind of just let the audience's mind kind of run with it. But they over-explain everything. They explain the cult. They explain the fucking theology of the cult. They explain that, like, they're basically, like, using her as, like, a fucking vessel for the queen god. It's like, it's too much, and I really hated it. It's like they gave this guy extra money and he forgot how to direct. Like, I don't know.
Do you think it got noted up with them? Do you think with the money came a lot of studio notes? Like the producers.
The thing that's funny about this, right, is that they gave him more money, but it's still, like, very independent. So it's like, It's, like, weird, right? Like, they gave him extra money, but it's not like it's still like a studio movie. Or if it is,
okay.
I never
It's not like Paramount or somebody was like, okay, now you gotta,
no.
Okay.
It's weird. You basically, it's like you went to fucking, Family Dollar instead of going to Dollar Tree. Like, it's still a cheap movie, but now it's, like, slightly better. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird movie, and I just did not like it. I'd highly recommend Last Shift. I thought Last Shift was great. I thought this Malum was just crap. Like, I did not care for it at all. And I mean, there's some cool visual stuff. Like, there's some really good visual effects when they show, like, the cultists. Like, there's this recurring image of these cultists that are basically, like, covered in this, like, bloody robe, and then they're like, half of their, like, weird deformed face is shining through. And, like, whoever did the makeup and stuff on that, it looks great in a vacuum. Like, if you put those scenes of the bloody cultists, like, talking in, like, a fucking music video or, like, in some kind of clip show, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking sick. But then you gotta watch the rest of the movie and you're like, oh, that fucking sucks. So yeah, that's all I watched. I've been watching, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, which is excellent. And as a non-manga reader, apparently, like, the next 2 episodes are, like, season changing, and they're like a big sea change in the entire show. So I'm looking forward to watching that, but I don't know what happens, but apparently it's like the red wedding level moment in the show, so. But, yeah, that's all. Guys.
I watched a bunch of things. A lot of it was shit. Like Shudder, shit. Like, I mean, it was shit. Let's start with all the stuff I trudged through on Shudder. Well, no, some of it was, okay, so here we go. I watched Lawnmower Man. That movie's not great.
Man, I haven't seen that movie, like, years.
It doesn't hold up. It's just, like, it is very of its time. Like, when we had no idea what anything would ever look like.
Were.
But I mean, like, it's not even, like, close. Like, everything, like, it's just fucking, it's super weird. And, like, I don't know, they're just trying to make combat monkeys, and then they're trying to make combat special education lawnmower men. Like, it's like, everyone's, like, super arch.
Isn't the Lawnmower Man Jeff Fahey, if I remember
correctly? It is
correctly?
Jeff Fahey, that's correct. And he gets all jacked, and he bangs a lady, and then he turns into liquid, and then he becomes God. I don't know. It's not good.
It refreshed me real quick. Jeff Fahey is, like, learning disabled, right?
Yes. If you're being generous, he's autistic.
I am being generous, yes.
And, like, he lives in the church grounds, and he mows lawns, but he's got an aptitude for machinery. Like, he's good like that. And then one of the guys whose lawn he mows is James Bond, and he just had his favorite monkey get killed by security because the monkey had, like, a psychotic event and tried to kill security guards with a pistol and a RoboCop helmet. And so he thinks it's a good idea.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again.
He thinks it's a good idea to
selling this movie.
To try to inject brain chemical into this guy.
Where the fuck did you get brain chemical?
Internet. Shit is strong, eh? Alright, so anyway, Lawnmower Man, not great. I watched a movie that I don't know how to classify.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's supposed to be a comedy.
What? You know what? You watched that fucking Last Men or whatever. I'm still shocked that you watched that fucking movie. So
yeah.
You're in a whole new frontier now.
I watched a movie called Head of the Family, and it's about what it's ostensibly about is this guy who runs a local diner, and he's kind of falling under the thumb of, like, the biker crime lord of the town, but he's also banging the biker crime lord's wife. But you also find out that the town is sort of secretly run by this family of mutants, where all of the mutants have, like, one aspect of their body is, like, banging and the rest is trash. Like, the guy.
This sounds pretty amazing. I hate that. Like, this.
Like, there's 3 brothers and a sister, and the sister's just a smoke show, but that's all she is. The one brother is just a big brawny moron. The one brother has all of his senses are elevated, like he has eyes that are popping out of his head and ears that can hear forever. And then the one brother who's in charge of all of it is just a head. He looks like MODOK. Like, he's just a head with little arms and legs in a wheelchair. And he can mentally connect and control all of his other siblings.
What era did this movie come out? Please tell me.
It had to be the 80s or 90s.
And it's bad? It sounds incredible.
It's from 1996. And it is just bizarre. It's, like, kind of funny. It's not scary. It's just weird. So there's that. I watched.
Sounds really good. I really want to watch this.
The next 3 things I'm going to rip through real quick because they're all good. Alec watched the 2007 Turtles movie. I watched the 1991 OG Turtles movie. I still know all the words to that movie. That movie rules. It will always rule.
That movie rocks.
I watched Carrie.
That's superior to the second one, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it is better than the second one. I watched Carrie, which I'm going to go out on a limb. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say might be the best Stephen King adaptation. If you don't say The Shining isn't really Stephen King's story, right? Because like Kubrick.
I mean, I would say that you're not counting the Frank Darabont movies because all those are really good.
The Mist is outstanding.
The Mist is outstanding. Like,
Green Mile is like a fucking masterpiece.
Let's take away the Richard Bachman stuff. Let's of the straight line Stephen King horror movie adaptations. Like, I mean, I love The Running Man, but it's not the same story. I love The Mist. It's great.
It's not even close.
But back in the day, The Stand was like a 4-part miniseries. I forget if Tommy Knockers and The Langoliers were like made for TV miniseries.
Yes, they were.
The original It was fun, but at the end of the day, it wasn't great. Like Christine was okay. Firestarter's pretty good. Like all these movies.
I'm with you. I'm thinking. If we're not counting the Darabont stuff, then yeah, you're probably right.
Don't count but of that era.
Whoa. Misery. Misery's fantastic.
Misery's good. But let's say of all the I'm putting a lot of qualifiers on here. All I'm saying is from that era.
Crazy. It's also crazy to think how many goddamn Stephen King movies there are.
Well,
I'm shocked we've never done a Stephen. I'm surprised we haven't done a Stephen King one. God, there's so many.
I know the rules. Brian.
Dude, hold on, I got an idea. When is Mardi Gras? What month is that in?
That's Fat Tuesday. It's like March. It's right before Easter. March, April.
How about we do Eat the King Cake?
Oh, okay.
It's like a Mardi Gras thing.
Well,
we already have a March, though? That's WWE Easter.
No, I thought it came for the first one.
Oh, that's right. We stopped doing WWE Easter. Do we have a March one? I don't remember.
Did I just pitch one that was going to be March?
The March one that I have written down is John Goodmarch.
Okay.
Pretty good, too.
What was the one I had would they have something for May, maybe? Oh, it was, That's What I Call No. That's What I Call Mazik? No, I don't remember. Something like that. Anyway, it was all music movies.
I like that.
Anyway.
The hills are alive with the sound of Mazik.
Carrie is a really good movie. Brian De Palma nails it. Sissy Spacek's awesome in it. The guy from Real American Hero is good in it. It's a good fucking movie. One of the better ones of that era of Stephen King.
Have you seen the Chloe Grace Moretz one?
I haven't. Is it no good?
It's got its moments. Like, it's not horrible, but it's also just there's nothing new to it. It's like worth watching.
Yeah. So I watched.
I feel like she gets unfortunately cast in a lot of movies like that.
Especially
she just
back
get
then.
pitched for something like.
She's a good She's such a good actress, but everything she's in is just like trash.
Aren't they pitching her to be in Taxi Driver? Aren't they pitching her to be the?
Excuse me.
Oh, she's too old now.
I think she's too old.
In her 30s.
Oh, you mean for some reason I thought you meant as like the Travis character.
No. She I saw some art where they were like showing it was like Keanu Reeves as Travis Bickle and her as the Jodie Foster character in a Taxi Driver. Maybe it was just someone's.
She could have been that character like right after like fucking Kick-Ass. I mean,
she's Hit Girl.
Didn't we talk about Taxi Driver? Like Jodie Foster was like 13 when she made that movie. It's something insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not good.
I mean, that's the point of the character.
I know that's the point, but it's still like the fact that they cast a child is still very bold.
Yeah.
Here's a movie that I don't think gets enough props. And then I'm going to talk about a movie that is just trash. That gets too many props. Ready? Start with not enough props.
Yeah.
Not enough props. Bill Paxton's Twister. That movie, cover to cover, is a good time.
Never seen it.
Really?
Yeah, never seen it.
Oh my goodness. Maybe it's just my nostalgia talking, but him, Helen Hunt, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Cary Elwes, hunting tornadoes over the course of a whole day. Ton of fun. Directed by the guy who did the cinematography for Die Hard. It's a good time in that weird 90s when disasters were big again. Like,
Independence Day.
Your volcanoes, your Dante's Peaks, that sort of thing. Big ups, Twister. Love Bill Paxton. Just made me sad to see him not be here no more.
Bill Paxton was the best.
And then I'm going to talk about what I think might be the most overrated horror movie of all time.
Oh, here we go.
Can you guess what it is?
The most overrated horror. Give me an era. Give me like a decade.
I think it's the late 70s, early 80s.
Ooh.
The Exorcist.
Oh my God. If we say the fucking Exorcist, we're about to fight.
It's a good guess, though.
I don't know. Friday the 13th, part 1?
Incorrect.
Okay, go ahead. What is it?
Phantasm. That movie.
I like Phantasm.
That movie sucks. You like Phantasm?
Well, you also think Scanners sucks, so, I mean, your taste.
Well, Scanners does, but, like, Phantasm doesn't have any rules that make any sense. There's, like, all this weird Dune shit that they shoehorn into it. There's, like the dude and his brother and the ice cream.
Also, I feel like you already complained about this
guy.
movie before. Why did you rewatch it?
Because I gave it another chance, and I thought maybe, like, the movie, like the tall man has he's got like an unimaginable power set. He's shipping people's bodies off as dwarves to be a miner on a miner's on a faraway planet using a tuning fork. Like, none of it. There's weird like mystics and shaman, and like everyone bangs in this graveyard for some reason, and the old man keeps being like ladies.
You tell me why I don't like this movie. I mean, it sounds.
It is one of those movies where it is exceeded. Like, it's like popularity and culture. Like the tall man is sort of held in the same regards as all your famous slashers, right? The silver ball, very iconic.
To a very like that is like we were talking about. I forget what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about Legion of Superheroes being like the hardest core of DC nerds. I feel like Phantasm is more in that. I think
the tall man's in like the tier of your pinheads.
I don't even know who the tall man is.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe
to like horror, like you got to be like an S tier horror nerd to even. I feel like to even know Phantasm.
I would challenge you. I don't know when the last time you watched Phantasm was.
It's been quite a while.
But sit down and watch Phantasm again, and it is a mess.
I mean, it is. I can acknowledge that it's a mess now, but I mean, like.
But it's not even it's not even an ambitious mess. It's just a fucking mess.
Time out. It's not ambitious. Like, did you hear how you described it? With the fucking weird science fiction all over the place and the sex. It's incredibly ambitious.
That's not ambition. That's throwing things against a wall. Those are two different things. I'm not an ambitious human being, but I throw a lot of things against walls, and that's what this movie is.
I mean, to me, like that movie, that's why people like it, because it's so fucking insane. And
it's
I mean, like
The Room. It's just The Room.
I mean, yeah, but like Lucio Fulci movies are a fucking mess, but they're great. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Like, watch
Agree
The Beyond.
To disagree.
Watch The Beyond and tell me that has a cohesive plot. It doesn't. It's a mess, but I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite horror movies.
Is it not have a cohesive plot because it's vague, or does it not have a cohesive plot because it's a mess?
Because it's a mess. Because Lucio Fulci didn't write a script, and they showed up in Louisiana, and they had to like improvise one.
Okay, yeah. I mean.
I don't know,
man. I'm just saying the original Phantasm.
Some of the best horror movies, especially that period, are fucking disasters. But they're entertaining.
All right, what is your favorite part of 1979's Phantasm? What's your favorite part?
I mean, I haven't watched it in so long. I'd have to rewatch it to really answer that question.
That's what I'm saying. It's not good.
I mean, it is good. I just haven't watched it in 15 years. It's been a long time.
Okay.
I have a goddamn old Anchor Bay special edition DVD.
That's the other thing I think everyone loves the stuff around it, and they don't love it.
I mean, I wouldn't have bought a movie I didn't like.
Fair enough.
I've bought plenty of movies I don't like.
Yeah, true. I've bought movies I don't like, but I guess we're different animals.
Especially back when like Hollywood and Blockbuster would have their like.
Oh no, but I had to search out. I had to search out this is. I don't think Anchor Bay even exists anymore. Hold on.
Do you like Phantasm the way I love Halloween 3?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's fucking stupid. Like, I don't think it's like a.
You don't think it's good?
I think it's. I mean, define. That's such a weird. You know what I mean?
The way I think about like Halloween 3 is not good, but it is excellent.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, all right,
that, yeah.
Okay. there's some like you're reveling in how bad it is.
I don't think. I don't think it's fucking like. I don't know. It's not like a P.T. Anderson movie or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure.
Dude, Wes Anderson's phantasm.
That'd be something.
Has anybody seen Asteroid City yet?
It's on Netflix. I've been meaning to watch it.
I really want to see that.
It's on.
I'm not even familiar. What is
the
that?
new P.T. or Wes Anderson movie?
Oh,
it takes place in the 50s. It's about aliens.
Oh, okay.
It looks interesting.
It's supposed to be really good. I started watching it like 3 separate times, but I started it at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, why am I doing this? But it's on the Plex. Maybe I'll watch it this week. I should have some time.
If I can plug one thing that I did that's not movies, and I know we hate books, but I listened to it, so I don't know if that counts.
Oh, that doesn't count. That's a loophole. I
listened to this book called, it's got a not great title, but it's called Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Isn't that one of the worlds in Lego Movie?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? It's like almost, isn't that like it's like where, what's her name from Community and like Princess Banana Kitty or whatever it is? Yeah. Maybe it's from like 2021. It's like a movie it's sort of set up in the same sort of structure as The Fountain, where it's about sort of a timeline story where it takes place in 3 different eras, but there's a weird interconnection. Like it takes place at the fall of Constantinople. It takes place in 2019. Yes. It takes place in 2019, and it also takes place in like 2165, like when humans have left Earth. And I thought it was really good. I thought it was really interesting. And the third act literally, we all know that I'm a big sap, but the third act literally brought me to tears. Like I'm mowing my lawn and it fucked me up real bad. So
check it out. It sounds
I thought it was super cool. It's like historical fiction meets sci-fi meets it's kind of I thought it was a beautiful story. So for those of you who think reading is dumb but listening is fine, Cloud Cuckoo Land. And that's everything.
All right, that's everybody. Let's get into Dolemite is my name and fucking up podcasts is my game. Gods, what happened in this movie?
So this movie is like a really straight line.
It certainly is.
It's hard to like.
I mean, honest to God, not a ton happens.
No.
There's just 3 stages of I guess like a 2-year period of his life or whatever. But it's not like it's full of events.
No.
There's him setting up Dolemite, him going and becoming popular air quotes with it, and then him making the movie.
It's literally just him executing.
Yeah, it's not like there's tons and tons and tons of shit that happens during the movie.
And oddly enough, and this usually is what you need in a movie like this, there's not a ton of conflict. Like there's
it's good you brought that up because that kind of fucked me up because I was waiting for something bad to happen to him.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing is that when you come into his story, all the bad shit, he's at the lowest. He's as low as he's going to get. He's an MC for a nightclub with a failing comedy act. He's moved out to L.A. He's working at a record shop. Things are not going. He's at rock bottom. So there's only one way to go.
Can I tell you how much and I assume this is real, but who knows, how much I love the idea of a radio station being broadcast out of the back of a record shop. I just thought that was so cool. I just love that idea.
Is the radio station, does it go anywhere besides the record shop? That's my question.
Thinking of that Simpsons joke where it's like the jazz station where it's like, oh, we only have a radius of 100 feet, which makes us the most powerful jazz station in the USA.
But yeah, it's so the deal is you meet Rudy Ray Moore. He is trying to do something. He's working this record shop. He's an MC for Craig Robinson, at this nightclub where Craig Robinson's band plays. He's hanging out with Mike. Who's the comedian? Whose name escapes? Mike Epps and Titus. The guy from Kimmy Schmidt.
Titus Burgess.
Yeah, everybody's good in this movie. First off.
Oh yeah.
They're really good. The cast is great.
And he gets, and Rudy Ray Moore played by Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy is and I was saying this on the text to everybody, he's so good in this movie you forget he's Eddie Murphy and you just think he's Rudy Ray Moore. Like, he is so lost in the character that you're just like, oh, this is just that guy.
The only thing, and again, it's not even really a complaint, the only, like, little minor nitpick I could say is that, like, and they did try to fatten him up a little bit, but, like, he's not as heavy as Rudy Ray Moore, and there's several points in this movie where they, like, talk about him being fat, and you're like,
I'm dumpy.
He's really not that. Like, I get it, and I'm glad they didn't, like, go, like, fat suit route, because he's not.
They could have dressed him up like a clump.
Like clump. Yeah. Oh, and also, I'm glad Eddie Murphy doesn't play 800 characters in this movie, because that would have really taken me out of the fucking movie.
Well, I don't think that would have been the same, like, kind of movie.
Yeah. Like, this is like a legit, like, really, really well done, like, comedy drama. Like, he plays
the character with a lot of heart. Like, you care about Rudy. It's not all sight gag. Like, there's parts of this movie where you're like he's putting it all out there. He's like especially the part where he's like, he's sitting around with his buddies and they were giving some bullshit. He's like, everything failed. This isn't the life I wanted. This is the life you wanted. This isn't what I want. Like, he's just fucking sad. Like, you can tell he's like broken. And then he like, go ahead.
No, you got it. I'm going to interrupt you there.
So that's kind of the low points when the movie opens. And he's like, you know what? I've tried everything else. There's this wino that keeps coming by the shop, and he's got this sort of like rhyming style of talking. He's like, I'm just going to go farm the hobos for ideas. And as a result, he comes up with the character of Dolemite.
So, in a sad note, the guy that plays the wino, the guy that basically is like the origin of Dolemite, that actor just passed away last week. And he was in Luke Cage. He's in a lot of stuff. But yeah, he was great. But yeah, he passed away, last week. Yeah, which I thought was weird, and we just watched the movie, and then I saw him on I was like, he's dead. That's a shame.
We should watch more Zack Snyder films. So then,
you absolutely should not watch more Zack Snyder films.
I mean, we can invoke
and by the way, I'm just putting this out there right now. We are not watching.
Oh, we have to.
I refuse. I will quit the show.
When's it come out? We
can watch Rebel Moon, but we are not watching the 5-hour cut. I simply refuse to watch. It comes out.
It's gonna be my birthday pick. When's it come out?
No. December.
It comes out after your birthday.
It comes out after your birthday. But we can watch the normal one. We are not watching the 5-hour cut. I am not watching a 5-hour movie.
Well, anyway, the rest of Dolemite is my name is basically Rudy Ray Moore. He goes and he's like he puts together this act and people love it, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna record it at my house. And he records it at his house and actually works out, and he takes it to record producers and they're like, we can't sell this. And he's like, instead of being defeated, he's like, fuck it. I'm gonna sell it myself. So he does the mix one. He might be the inventor of the mixtape. He's selling mixtapes out of the trunk of his car and out of his record store, and it's selling like hotcakes. Now people are like,
doesn't it blow your mind? Like, because they talk a little bit about how, like, they talk about Lenny Bruce and they talk about Red Fox and how they're like dirty, but they don't actually like say the dirty thing. They use like double entendre and stuff. But like, because they're talking about like obscenity laws, and it's like, I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my god, that's right. And then I think about like conservatives now, and they're probably like, yeah, we need to go back to that shit. Like, it's so weird to me.
Oh yeah, no. So,
I mean, Lenny Bruce went to fucking jail.
Yeah, he got to prison for it.
Yeah, like crazy.
So he's out here selling tapes, and he hooks up with these guys, the Kalari brothers. And so I'm like, all right, here's.
They're like Serbian or Albanian or something.
I think they're Jewish, actually. They're Jewish and like Eastern European, but whatever they are. I'm like, okay, here's the guys that are gonna fuck him, and they don't.
Right, and they don't.
They support him. They get him radio play. His record charts.
Even when he's trying to get the movie produced, and Rudy kind of makes a lopsided deal. They're like warning him that this is a bad deal. It's like it's
we're always like no risk to us.
The one guy's just like, so you understand, if this fails, we get control of all your records like forever.
Yeah, because he's like, you'll just be working for free for us for the rest of your life. And I was like, you would think he's trying that someone would fuck him in this deal, and then they didn't. They got their money back and they're happy. And then now he's got the movie made and people are loving the movie. And then finally, is it Dimension Pictures with Bob Odenkirk? He tries to shop. He finally gets the part where he's filming the movie in the old hotel and they're stealing power
I love
and
that.
they're coming up with all this dumb shit. And some of the best parts of this movie for me, because I love the original Dolemite movie, is like seeing him do those scenes, and at the very end they showed you all those scenes from the original movie to show you how true to form they were.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it in the What We Watched thing, but I did go back and watch the original Dolemite after this. And it makes the movie, like, as much as I didn't really care for the Disaster Artist, like, watching that movie and then watching The Room, there's kind of like, it's kind of a fun thing to watch. But I love, and again, this is a TJ trope, but I love movies about making movies. Like, it's just a genre that I always love. And there's just such a, like, I love the whole idea that they just had this passion that they wanted to make this movie. Like Rudy Ray Moore, like, loved the movies, and he wanted to make a movie, and he, like, couldn't help but make a good movie, right? Like, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, they get this kid that's, like, from film school, and they basically are like, well, you know how to fucking make a movie, so make a movie. Like, nobody else here does. And I just love that shit. And I loved, we haven't even mentioned him yet, but, like, Wesley Snipes shows up as, I can't remember his real life name, but he was an actor, and he's been in, and, like, there's a really funny scene. Is it Craig Robinson? Is that his name?
Craig Robinson's the guy who plays the musician.
Yeah.
But there's Keegan-Michael Key who plays the writer.
Yeah, the writer
too.
But Craig Robinson has a great scene where they get introduced to Wesley Snipes, and Wesley Snipes is like, I worked with Polanski, and I worked with, like, all these, like, big name directors, and he's like, oh yeah, you were the elevator operator or whatever. And I was like, there's so many funny little lines.
Baby.
That's right, Rosemary's Baby. And, like, but there's so many funny little lines in this movie. Like, there's another great scene early on where they all, like, all of the friends, all Dolomites, or all Rudy Ray Moore's friends go out to the movies, because Rudy Ray Moore loves the movies, and he's like, oh, I read the reviews, and they said this is, like, one of the funniest movies ever, and they show some fucking, like, I don't know, some fucking old fucking stiff comedy, like It's a Mad World or something.
Yeah.
And, like, they're like, what? This isn't fucking funny? And, like, they're just, like, deadpan, like, looking at this fucking movie. And it's just like, I don't know, man, they do such a good job throughout the entire movie, and I feel like it really comes together in the filming of the movie part. They do such a great job at conveying the friendship that these people have with each other. You know what I mean? Like, they do such a wonderful job of showing their camaraderie and their love for each other. And I think, like, I don't know, it's really hard to pull off, but, like, they all feel like they're a real family. Like, they feel like they're real friends.
And they're like, it all works out. So you're like, this is great. You just feel good by the end of the movie. So, like, so one of the things that like TJ said, they go see this movie, and I took a picture and I sent it to everybody because it sounded like a movie, the podcast review, because he walks out of the movie that's supposed to be a scream, and he goes, it ain't got no titties, no funny, and no kung fu. And it's like, what the hell is this? And then they make this movie, and then Dimension Pictures comes back and says, we fucked up. We will distribute your movie. People love it. Because he did what they call it?
He has to do he has to distribute it himself.
But he's four-walling it. Yeah.
Is that what the term they used?
Basically,
he pays the theater
$500
money to show the movie, and then anything above that 500 you get back, and you get, like, concessions. Or no, you don't get concessions.
You get 100% of the tickets.
Yeah. He was trying to get the concession in there, but the guy wouldn't give it to him. And that guy was
he was
one of the guys from Life. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, you're right. But it's literally like what a lot of bands do when they play, like, small shows. Like, it's the same idea. They probably, four-walling still probably exists to some capacity, if there's any independent theaters left in the world.
Yeah, so he's just shipping this thing around. He's making money. People are loving it. People are talking up. Then Bob Odenkirk comes back and said, we did you wrong. We wanted to
Bob
distribute the movie.
Bob Odenkirk sets up a meeting, and these 5 guys walk in there with the drippiest drip you've ever seen in your fucking life. And they are dressed up like the brightest colors, the most, like, ridiculous suits and dresses, and they just walk right in like they own the place. It's fucking great.
And then
didn't Rudy change the name of his, like, production company or something?
Like, mid-sentence, he said the wrong thing. That's a wholly owned subsidiary of this or whatever. And then Bob Odenkirk's like, listen, and then Rudy Ray Moore is like, he's shown very smart. He's like, listen, there's plenty of stories where people get screwed. I'm not getting screwed. you're going to talk about percentage points afterwards, and then you find out that the movie cost them about $100,000 to make at the end of the day, and the box office for it was like $10 million. So it's a certified banger financially. Also, one thing that I don't know if it's like, I know it's Rudy Ray Moore's story, so he's going to be probably cast in a very positive light, but like, what was her name? Lady Reed? Like, he's going around places and he's trying to bring other people up. Like, he brings Lady Reed around. And like,
I really like that.
He's like, you got something special. I can see it in you. You should be up there doing comedy. Like, you got it, man. And like the very end, like where they're doing the premiere and there's that little kid who he's not going to get into like the third showing. He's like, you guys see the movie. I've already seen it. I'm going to hang out with the people. And just goes out and like in the crowd and just sort of like, he made it. And you just feel so good about it.
Yeah, and I also like the underlying thing that they actually like say it, but they're like the movies, like they made a movie to represent them and their community, and like nobody is representing them, and like I think that was a cool, like not only is that a cool statement for this movie, but I think that's kind of like a great overarching point too. Like, and I mean, we talked before like all this month about how Eddie Murphy just used to be like box office gold, even with something like fucking Beverly Hills Cop 3, which is fucking awful. And I mean, a big part of that is that black audiences fucking support black films. Like they do very, like it's because think about it, like especially back then, like they're underrepresented, like, and it's like they, that's why we got all like great, like blaxploitation stuff from the 70s and things like that. And I don't know, it's cool. Like I think like, obviously like, three white guys on a podcast talking about it probably aren't the best people to speak on it, but as someone that's watched a lot of those movies, like, I don't know, I think it's a cool little snapshot of a time, like, for movies and things.
I would say that the closest thing this movie gets to having conflict in it is they're driving to the premiere and they're reading all the reviews, and all the reviews are just trashing the movie. And he's like, okay.
And then he's like, read me these reviews. Let's see what everybody's saying. Yeah. And then they start reading them. He's like, fuck those reviews. What the fuck do they know about fucking movies?
And then he's like, and they're like, but even in that moment, the dude like summons, like, he's like, you know what? This is about us. We're going to have a good night regardless. Just like, let's just enjoy it for what it is. And they pull around the corner and it is just, the crowds don't give a shit. Yeah. It's just mobbed. And like everyone, like, you can only imagine how good that must, and how vindicating that would feel, especially to have everyone tell you, even at your highest moment, that you're nothing and you're not doing it.
And I mean, I don't know how old he was. Did they ever say how old he is?
I think he was in his 40s.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure he was like in his 40s. So like, to make it that late in an entertainment is just like insane. To make it an entertainment period is insane. But like, to make it in your 40s and like, that movie, the legacy of that movie, like continued on forever. And I mean, like, guys, I know, like you're a big hip hop guy, like you probably were exposed to like Dolemite references more in like songs and stuff before you ever saw that movie.
Oh yeah. Like lots of samples and like lots of references. But then like, I would say the first time I saw Dolemite, it took me a second because I was expecting Shaft. I wasn't expecting a comedy.
Right.
And then you'd like get your head around like, oh.
Then you saw the instant replay.
Yeah. No, I did that again. Just watch one more time. Like I just did the math. He was 47 or 48 when Dolemite came out. Rudy Ray Moore was. He was born in 1927.
Yeah, but it's a great movie. I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say? I mean, we've kind of jumped over the synopsis a lot, but is there anything else you want to say before we get into Five Knuckle Shuffles?
This is like everybody's so good in it.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, even like Cody Smith McPhee, like as the quote unquote director, because they just like grab some guys from film school that
oh yeah, he's really
Keaton
good.
Michael Key knows from film school because he's like a professor or something. He's like, these are some of my students. They're gonna be the crew. And like a little later on, you get to the point where he's like, Rudy, like my guys haven't been paid at all in days, and he's like, but that's fine. We don't care, but we need film.
Yeah, we're out of film.
And right. they're using like fucking ends and reels.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So he puts his like, what did he? He put something else up at that point because at first he put up his records, and I forget what he put up at the end to get that last like $30,000. Was it his car or something? I forget what it was. But he goes back to the brothers, and they're like, "You're really betting like everything on this, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." And then there's a scene, I don't know, a few minutes later, where they actually get the check and get reimbursed. They're going, "You're never gonna fucking believe what this is."
Yeah.
It's like an uplifting, like it's kind of a Rocky movie. Like it's like this guy who's at the bottom and he finally gets his shot and he makes it, man. It's nice. And it helps that it's a real story.
And it's funny. Like it's not like
it's funny.
It's like overly dry or there's moments in it that are like very funny. And like, I mean, I love the scene where he does like the karate scene. And they're like, what does Wesley Snipes say? He's like,
any way to frame this so it looks like he's kicking him? And they're like,
no,
that doesn't exist. He's like, all right, fuck it.
It's like, how is that? I forget what he says, but they're like, how is that? Wesley Snipes says, it was like, I can't remember exact wording, but it's
he basically said like, that's as good as it's gonna be. It's as good as it will be.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes is great in this movie. Like,
he really
is. Good.
When they're filming the sex scene.
Yeah,
Rudy Ray Moore he's like got like a crisis of conscience because he's like embarrassed about having the sex scene with the woman and his body and stuff.
Yeah,
and then what's her Lady B?
Lady Reed.
Yeah,
Lady Reed. She's like, well, let's rewrite it. They make it like a comedy scene, but they don't tell Wesley Snipes that they rewrote it.
But then he loves it.
He's like, I don't know what the fuck that just was, but it is funny as fuck.
yeah. It was great. All right. 5 knuckle shuffle time. I think I have a pretty good idea with how this is gonna go. Cogs.
I'm going 9.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go 10. I want to, but I'm not gonna. But it's super.
What's holding it from being a 10?
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if it's transcendent. Like, I don't know if it's like,
is
but like
iridescent.
Yeah, but like that's translucent. It's super. You know what? Fuck
Transcendence, that movie with Johnny Depp. Where he's
God,
a computer man.
Shocked me.
He becomes like a lawnmower man, doesn't he?
He becomes a Dixie Flatline. That movie fucking sucks. I can't believe we haven't watched it. It's so bad.
I take it back. I'm going YOLO. We're going 10. I love the whole thing. I found it I like a positive movie, and like I was holding my breath the whole time waiting for him to get screwed. It never happened. Eddie Murphy is trying his ass off. Like I'm saying, he melts into the role. Everyone's great in it. Craig Robinson's great in it. Titus Burgess is great in it. Mike Epps is great in it. The woman from Peacemaker's great in it. Like everyone's good in this movie, and it's like it's a fun film. It strikes this excellent balance. Kind of, I think, to TJ's point, almost like an Edgar Wright movie of like it's funny, but it's got enough heart that it's like, you know, it's still a biopic. And it's someone you're rooting for, and Eddie Murphy gives Rudy Ray Moore such like gravitas and such like you want him to succeed, like you feel for him, like he's really trying. Music's great, well directed, everyone's funny as hell. It's one of the better Netflix was it Netflix original or was it just distributed by Netflix?
I believe it was original. Netflix original, yeah.
Well, it's tremendous. So, and if you have any affinity for the original Dolemite film or films or Rudy Ray Moore, it's a strong recommend. One of my favorite movies I watched this year. So yeah, I'll give it a 10. I'll go all the way. Alec.
It's also a 10. Like, this movie's perfect. This is the second time I've seen it. I didn't know what to expect the first time because I'm not familiar with Dolemite. I've never watched any of the Dolemite movies. But man, everybody's so good in this, and like, it just goes to show, like, when Eddie Murphy gets like a part that he gives a shit about, he can still bring the lumber. Like, he's like so fucking good, and I wish he would get more parts where he could sink his teeth into like this, like instead of doing Beverly Hills Cop 4.
I think he produced this too. I think this is like a passion project for him. So
makes sense.
But then next is like another Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Yeah, no thank you.
Like, badass. But yeah, man, Eddie Murphy, like, he's just It's like he's got all the talent in the world, just sometimes he misdirects it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that same can be said for a lot of actors. Not everything everybody makes is all bangers, but
yeah. And I mean, he did. What did we
maybe
say
it's
on
just
that
I look
episode?
on it a little more unfavorably for him because he had such a long time where he was just doing like the same thing over and over.
Oh yeah.
Like all those kiddie movies and club movies and shit like that.
And money talks. I mean, he made a boatload of money on Beverly Hills Cop 3, so it's like, stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Can't blame him, really.
Sometimes you do it for the paycheck, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's made so many, like, Shrek things, like, between all the movies and all the little videos and all the little, like, Christmas movies and shit like that.
Yeah, he always showed up for those, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a 10. Like, this movie's fucking tremendous. Everything, I loved everything about it. Hopefully he'll keep making some more bangers. TJ.
It's a 10 for me, dog. This movie's great. And, funny enough, Gogs is like, I like feel-good movies. I don't. I kind of hate feel-good movies. Because I usually feel like, movies that are overly positive are disingenuous, and I don't feel like they, like, I always, I don't know, because I always like more dour, depressing movies. But I love this movie. I thought it was great.
Well, you can go watch The Blind Side now.
Oh, yeah.
With all the shit that came out now.
Yeah, for real. Also, about that, people are mad at Sandra Bullock. Like, she's an actress. What the fuck? Like, why are you mad at her?
She has no stake in this.
Yeah, she had nothing to do with it. Like, anyway.
She got that Oscar.
People are fucking dopes. Like, anyway.
Like, you realize she's not.
Yeah, she's not the lady. Yeah, she's not the lady. Also, what a fucked up story that whole thing is. But anyway, no, this movie is fantastic. Like, I feel like a lot of feel-good movies are kind of phony, and I don't feel like any of this is phony. It all feels very genuine. And like I said, I feel like the movie goes a great lengths to really, really, I mean, the core of this movie is the friendship of the characters, and I feel like they do such a great job with, you feel like you know these characters, and you understand their relationships and how strong their bonds are. And there's little scenes in this that I really, really respect. Like, the first time Rudy pulls out the Dolemite character at the club, and he's doing kind of like the rhythmic, he's kind of like, it's almost like freestyle in a weird way, but the comedy. But then Craig Robinson's band comes out with him and starts kind of playing down some lines so he can kind of groove to what they're putting down, and I love that.
So he tells like the first joke, and the guy gives him like a half-ass he
gives him a rim shot,
and he's like,
yeah,
he's like, no, fuck that weak shit, man. Give me that real
like lean on it.
Give me that real heavy shit. Lean on it.
Like, it's cool. Like, and I loved it. And it's like that alone, like the fact that like his friends are invested in his success. Like God said it earlier, right? Go ahead.
But real quick, that scene you just mentioned, right? And I think this helps set the tone of the movie for me. Because like I'm used to watching jaded films, I thought that him being the star was going to upset Craig Robinson, and then Craig Robinson's character is going to be like, "How come you're taking the shine off me?" But when he comes out on stage and he starts accompanying him, I'm like, "Oh, this is like lovely and supportive."
You're also just thinking of Walk Hard.
Walk Hard. I was going to say, did anybody think of him in Walk Hard? Where it's like, that scene where he breaks both his hands, and then Dewey's like, I've been watching all the songs, like, don't your Negro man?
You gotta love Dewey Cox. You gotta love your Negro man.
God, I love Walk Hard. I love Craig Robinson too. Underrated actor, really. I think he's great. He's got a great charisma to him. But
he's got a show on
oh, you told me about that.
On Peacock, that's really good. The season 2 is about to come out. It's about him.
It's got a weird title, doesn't it?
I think it would be called Killing It.
Killing it. That's it.
But it's about him killing pythons in Florida to get the bounties on them to make money to fund his prostate drug company that he wants to start.
The weirdest goddamn premise I've ever heard in my life, but I love it. Anyway, I love this movie though. I thought it was great. It's just a fun, like, heartwarming movie, and it's funny, and it's authenticity, just like it just bleeds through the screen. Like, it just feels, not only does it feel genuine as a story, but it feels like the people that made it, everybody was in on this. Like, everybody really wanted to make this. And it kind of mirrors the story in the film. And I thought it was great. And I said this to you guys in the chat, but I shouldn't be surprised, right? Cause the Academy fucking sucks. But like, this should have gotten like some kind of, like, this should have gotten more critical, like, acclaim. Like, this is really well made. Also, well, I don't think we mentioned it. The movie looks great. Like, it's shot really well. Like, it's not like a lot of biopics, not good ones, tend to be kind of flat. Cause they're kind of relying on more of like you knowing the story, and like this is shot really well. Like this is just an A plus production. I really loved it. It's a 10 for me, dog. Great movie. So yeah, that is, my name is Dolemite. Dolemite is my name. Great film. Highly recommended. Check it out on Netflix before Netflix like takes it off of Netflix for some stupid reason. Cause you know they might. They're very dumb and they're weird. What's next week? Next week's a new month.
September.
What's September?
Alec?
Oh, Alec's muted.
It's September.
That's right, Stifler. It's a Sean William Scott movie.
Sean William Scott.
Man, that's a tough one. Anybody have a pick already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Becky too.
Oh,
interesting.
Okay. Easy enough. It's already on the Plex.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
You've seen Becky 1, right?
Yes, I've seen the first one.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool.
The whole reason I came up with this month is because Sean keeps talking about wanting to watch Bulletproof Monk.
That was going to be my pick. So, yeah.
We already watched the rundown, right? Recently,
yes.
right?
I don't know about
Not recently. It's been a while.
We watched it on the show. We did watch it on the show. I remember liking it. I think it got fairly positive reviews from us.
I might pick Evolution. I never saw it.
Oh,
I remember
that movie's so fun.
I remember people telling me that movie was great. I've never seen it.
That's going to be my pick whenever that comes around.
All right, so next week, Becky 2. Excited you all to watch it. I really enjoyed it.
I haven't seen it yet. So
a movie I was lucky enough to do fucking promo art for from the distribution company. How cool is that? Shout out to Quiver Productions. A very nice Quiver Distribution. That's probably one of the.
There we go.
One of the coolest experiences I've had so far doing art. That was such a neat opportunity.
I'm glad you're disclosing that so we don't get gamers gated over this review that we're going to do next week.
yeah, because
perfect score, 10s across the board.
We love the first one, so I mean.
Oh, the first one's man.
Yeah, I think you'll all be pleasant. I was going to say pleasantly surprised, but I think you'll be happy with this next one. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to get some dinner. I am fucking starving. Till next week, friends. Shout out to Sean, sucking his dad's dick during a hurricane. Here I am.
I honestly didn't even know there was a hurricane starting already.
Yeah, I had no clue that it was going to happen there. I knew they were talking about the one in California. I was like, I didn't realize there was one turning up fucking west coast of Florida.
Seriously though, Sean, be safe. We love you. All right. Bye, everybody.
Later, dudes.